All right, thanks, guys. The Angels take on the Cubbies. That's going to be a 2:20 Eastern first pitch in the Windy City. Chicago open 155, no total as of yet. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a nickel fade of the Cubs down to minus 150. So once again, the Cubbies open 155 down to minus 150. No total on this game as of yet. 51% are leaning Chicago. And at the moment, the Angels are plus 135 on the money line. We have Skaggs on the bump for the Angels. Hamels on the bump for the Cubbies. Skaggs is 1-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Hamels 1-0 with a 5.73 ERA. Now, Hamels had a pretty good outing in his last trip on the bump. 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. 1.00 whip, 5 Ks in that outing. That was a 14-8 win taking on the Brewers. Meanwhile, Los Angeles, in Skaggs' last outing, 6 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 0.95 whip, 5 strikeouts, and a 5-1 victory taking on Texas. Now, the Angels are on a 6-game winning streak right now, 6-0 straight up in their last 6. They also rank first in Major League Baseball in offensive strikeouts. They're striking out just 6 times per contest on average. And when it comes to the Cubbies on the other side of things, they rank 26th in runs allowed, 28th in hits allowed. And they're just 3-8 straight up overall. So once again, no line on the total. But I think the Angels should get the job done in this underdog spot. I'm going to take the LA Angels plus 135, getting the job done on the sides. And with all that said and done, happy Friday. Welcome to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Friday's Major League Baseball and NHL action. But before we go ahead and hop into that, just want to quickly remind you to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. And I'll tell you what, we've been absolutely crushing it in Major League Baseball on that website. We do daily plays, got a bunch of different tiers and memberships, and there's plenty of free content there as well. So please feel free to just hit that pause button right now, open up your browser, and type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. Link is in the description section below. And if you just subscribe to me on Patreon on that website, I really cannot thank you enough. You certainly make it all worth it. And with all that said and done, let's go ahead and hop back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. In just a little bit, I'll let you know where I was at over the past 3 days. I missed you guys. Great to be back. Let's take a look at the White Sox taking on the Yankees. 7:05 Eastern first pitch at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees open 235, total at 9. And since those markets opened this one up, we're actually seeing a 10-cent fade of the Yankees when it comes to the sides. We're seeing movement upward on the total up to 9.5. So once again, New York open 235 down to minus 225. Total open 9 up to 9.5. 67% are leaning New York, 83% shaded toward the White Sox. Right now, Chicago's plus 200 on the money line. Giolito projected on the bump for Chicago. J Happ on the bump for the Yankees. Giolito is 1-1 with a 5.73 ERA. J Happ 0-1 with a 6.48 ERA for the Yankees. Now in Happ's last outing, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, and a no decision. They did end up beating Baltimore that game 6-4. Meanwhile, the White Sox on the other side, Giolito, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, a 2.31 whip, and a 9-2 loss, taking on the Mariners, absolutely shelled in that matchup there. Chicago's lost their last 5 straight. They're giving up 7 runs per contest as well. The Yankees on the other side are 4th in walks at home, getting a lot of men on base. They're also 9th in hits allowed at home, keeping people off the bases. Total-wise, Chicago's 9-2 to the over overall for the year, 4-1 to the over away from home. Chalk, chalk, chalk. Give me the Yankees minus 1.5, getting the job done on the run line, and the over 9.5 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Pirates, Nationals, 7:05, Nation's capital. Washington's minus 170, totals at 8. 65% are leaning Washington, 78% shaded toward the over. Pittsburgh's plus 155 on the money line. Williams for the Buccos, Corbin for the Nats. Williams 1-0, 2.25 ERA. Corbin 3.75 ERA for the Nats. Washington's 2-0 in their last 2, 5-2 in their last 7. They're third in runs scored. Pittsburgh, they rank 24th in runs scored, 20th in striking out on the road. And total-wise, Pittsburgh's 6-3 to the over, taking on right-handing pitching. Washington 8-3 to the over for the season. Give me Washington minus 170 and the over 8 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Tampa Bay, Blue Jays, 7:07 Toronto. The Rays open 135 down to minus 120. Total open 8.5 up to 9. 64% leaning toward Tampa Bay. 53% shaded toward the under. Right now the Blue Jays are plus 110 on the money line. We have Stanek for the Rays. Thornton for the Jays. Stanek's got a 1.5 ERA. Thornton 1.69 ERA himself. Toronto is 27th in home scoring, 28th in home hits allowed. They've dropped 5 out of their last 6, and they're just 2-8 straight up in their last 10. Tampa Bay 4-0 straight up in their last 4 games. They rank first in Major League Baseball in runs allowed on average. They're 10-3 straight up overall. Total-wise, Tampa Bay 10-3 to the under overall. Toronto 6-1 to the under at home. Give me Tampa Bay minus 120 and the under 9 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Fightins, Fish, 7:10 Miami. Philadelphia open 165, total 7.5. Not a whole lot of movement on the sides. Pretty good two-way action there. But we did see movement upward on the total, up to an even 8 runs. So once again, Philadelphia is minus 165, total open 7.5 up to 8 flat. 69% are leaning Philly, 77% shaded toward the over. Right now the Marlins are plus 150 on the money line. Arrieta for the Phils, Alcantara for the Fish. Arrieta's 1-1 with a 2.77 ERA. Sandy Alcantara 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA for the Marlins. Now Miami's been pretty bad this year. They're just 3-10 straight up overall, 2-5 straight up at home. They rank second to last in scoring, and they rank dead last in walks at home. Now Philadelphia on the other side, 7-4 straight up overall, 6th in runs scored, 1st in walks. Really doing a good job of getting men on the base paths. Philadelphia 7-4 overall to the over. Once again, 7-4 to the over on the year, 2-0 to the over away from home. Miami 6-1 to the over on their home field. Give me Philadelphia minus 165 and the over 8 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Orioles, Red Sox 7:10 Boston. The Red Sox open 280, total at 10. And since those markets open this one up, not a whole lot of movement on the total, although we did see a 15-cent fade of Boston with regard to the money line. They're down to 265. Once again, Boston open 280, down to minus 265, totals at 10, 70% leaning Boston, 82% shaded toward the over. Right now, Baltimore's plus 245 on the money line. We have Hess for Baltimore, Rodriguez for Boston. Hess is 1-1 with a 2.70 ERA. Rodriguez 0-2 with a 12.38 ERA. Baltimore's 4-2 straight up away from home. They rank 9th in strikeouts on the road, just 8 per game on average. Meanwhile, Boston's 28th in runs allowed, 22nd in hits allowed at home. Red Sox really struggling in the early going here, just 4-9 straight up overall for the year. Total-wise, both teams 10-3 to the over overall for the year. Give me Baltimore plus 1.5 in the over 10 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Mets, Braves, 7:20 Atlanta. The Braves open 115 down to minus 110, totals at 9. 51% toward Atlanta, 81% toward the over. Right now, the Mets are minus 110, so we're pretty much looking at a coin flip situation in this game. Zach Wheeler for the Mets, right for the Braves. Both pitchers 0-1. Wheeler's got a 10.24 ERA, right 4.36 ERA. Atlanta 7-2 straight up in their last 9. They rank 9th in runs scored and 3rd in walks. The Mets on the other side, dead last in striking out. They're averaging 10.5 strikeouts per game at the plate. And total-wise, the Mets are 10-2 to the over overall for the year. Give me Atlanta minus 110, getting the job done at home. And the over, 9 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Oakland, Texas, 8:05 Texas. Oakland opened 120, total at 10. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a nickel fade of Oakland. With regard to the money line, we're seeing movement upward on the total. With regard to the scoring, minus 115 and 10.5. So once again, the Athletics open minus 120 down to minus 115. Total open 10 up to 10.5. 70% are leaning Oakland, 79% shaded toward the over. Right now, Texas is plus 105 on the money line. Mike Fiers for the Athletics. Smiley for the Rangers. Fiers is 2-1 with a 5.94 ERA. Smiley 0-1 with a 7.11 ERA. Oakland's 3-0 straight up in their last 3. They rank 2nd in striking out at just 6.6 Ks per contest at the plate. Texas dropped 4 out of their last 5. They rank 2nd to last in strikeouts at 10.3 a game on average. Now, total-wise, Texas is 2-0 to the under when Drew Smiley makes the start. Oakland 75% to the under, taking on teams averaging more than 4.2 runs per contest. Very bizarre stat there. Give me Oakland minus 115 and the under 10.5 runs in that matchup there. Detroit, Minnesota, postponed already? Is that right, guys? I already capped it, so we'll go through it. But that is very strange, postponed. I didn't hear anything on that. Let me know in the comments section what the deal is with that game. But anyway, could be a typo. But Detroit, Minnesota, we'll rip through this real quick. 8:10 projected Eastern first pitch. Minnesota opened 175 down to 170. Total 8. Detroit was plus 150 on the money line. It was Norris for the Tigers, Pineda for the Twins. Norris 5.07 ERA. Pineda 1-0 with a 2.00 ERA. Minnesota's 27th in walks, 28th in walks allowed at 4.7. Detroit 6-2 straight up in their last 8. First in runs allowed on the road. First in hits allowed on the road as well. Detroit 10-3 to the under overall. So that was a case where I was actually going to take an underdog. Like I said, very confused about the postponed status there. If you know what the deal is with that game, let me know in the comment section below. But regardless, I would have taken Detroit plus 1.5 in the under 8 runs in that matchup there. All right, let's go ahead and get back on track, and we're going to take a look at the Indians-Royals. That'll be an 8:15 Eastern first pitch in Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium. Cleveland opened 150, total at 8. Not a whole lot of movement on the money line, although we did see movement toward the under, moving that line down to 7.5. So once again, Cleveland's minus 150, total open 8 down to minus 7.5. It's not minus 7.5, it's 7.5 even. So once again, Cleveland opened and remains minus 150, total open 8 down to 7.5. 70% leaning toward Cleveland, 82% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Royals are plus 135 on the money line. Carrasco for the Indians, Keller for the Royals. Carrasco's 1-1 with a 7.72 ERA. Keller's 1-1 with a 2.84 ERA. Kansas City has lost their last 10 straight. They're also 2-7 straight up at home. The Royals rank 25th in runs allowed, 28th in hits allowed. And when it comes to the total, Kansas City is 10-2 to the over overall for the year. Give me Cleveland minus 150 and the over 7.5 in that matchup there. Next game, Padres, Diamondbacks, 9:40 Eastern first pitch in Arizona. The Padres opened 105, total 8.5. And since that one opened up, we've seen a 20-cent move toward the Padres, putting them at minus 125. So once again, San Diego opened 105, up to minus 125, totals 8.5. 55% leaning Padres, 54% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Diamondbacks are plus 110 on the money line. We have Paddock for the Padres, Weaver for the Diamondbacks. Paddock has a 1.04 ERA, Weaver 6.75 ERA himself. San Diego 6-2 straight up in their last 8. They rank 10th in runs allowed, 7th in walks given up. And although Paddock is 0-0 on the year, San Diego is 2-0 straight up when he makes the start. Now Arizona on their side of things, they rank 27th in runs allowed, 21st in hits allowed on average. And they've dropped 3 out of their last 4. Now total-wise, Arizona's 10-3 to the over in their last 13, 4-0 to the over at home. Give me San Diego minus $1.25 in the over 8.5 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Astros, Mariners, 10-10 Seattle. Houston open 135, total at 9. Not a whole lot of movement on the total in this one, although we did see a 15-cent move toward Houston, putting them at minus 150. So once again, the Astros open 135 up to minus 150. Total's 9 flat. 56% leaning towards Seattle, 75% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Mariners are plus 135 on the money line. We have Wade Miley for the Astros, Wade LeBlanc for Seattle. Miley 1-1, 2.31 ERA. LeBlanc 2-0 with a 4.77 ERA. Seattle's 13-2 straight up overall for the year, 5-1 at home, 6-1 as the dog. They rank first in scoring. Houston on the other side, well, they rank 21st in scoring on average. They're also 2-5 straight up away from home. When it comes to the total, Seattle's 13-2 to the over for the season, 5-1 to the over at home. Give me Seattle plus 135 in the over, 9 runs in that matchup there. Next game, Brewers, Dodgers, 10-10 Los Angeles. The Dodgers open 150, total at 8. Not a lot of movement in this one. Actually, a 10-cent fade of the Dodgers when it comes to the money line. Once again, the Dodgers open 150, down to minus 140. Totals at 8. 57% leaning toward the Dodgers. 76% shaded toward the over. We have Burns for the Brewers. Urias for the Dodgers. Burns is 0-1 with a 9.90 ERA. Urias is coming into this game with a 3.11 ERA. Milwaukee's dropped their last 3 straight. They also rank 21st in runs allowed. Give me the Dodgers minus 140 and the over 8 runs in that game there. And then we will slide into our next and final game for the show. It is going to be Colorado, San Francisco, 10:15 Eastern first pitch in the Bay Area. San Fran open 125, total 7.5. Good two-way action on the money line, no movement there. But we did see movement upward on the total up to 8 flat. So once again, San Fran minus 125, total open 7.5 up to 8 flat. 55% are leaning San Fran, 56% shaded toward the over. Right now the Rockies are plus 115 on the money line. We have Bettis for the Rockies, Pomeranz for the Giants. Bettis is 0-2 with the 11. Let's try that again. Bettis is 0-2 with an 11.87 ERA. Pomeranz 0-1 with a 4.00 ERA. Give me San Francisco minus 125 in the under. 8 runs in that matchup there. All right, let's slide into some NHL Stanley Cup playoff hockey. And we're going to begin with the Blue Jackets at Tampa Bay, 7 o'clock Eastern, puck drop at the MLB Arena. And no surprises here. I've been on hiatus for the past couple of days, and that is exactly where I was at. In Tampa Bay the past couple of days on business. And I got to tell you what, I was at World of Beer right there in Tampa Bay, watching the Lightning game with all the Tampa Bay faithful crazies. Hockey is very huge down in Tampa Bay, believe it or not. Go Bolt signs all over town. And I'll tell you what, everybody in that place was stunned as the Lightning blow an incredibly large lead and drop game 1. Just incredible to be amongst the Tampa Bay fans at World of Beer in Tampa Bay and watch them collapse late in that game. But anyway, that's where I was. Once again, back down in Tampa Bay on business. That's why I've been gone the past couple of days. A lot of work. Whew, man, work sucks. But some good entertainment. Went to the Davidoff cigar store right there in the center of the town. A couple days later, went to that fancy wine bar across the street from that Davidoff spot. Where else did we go? Just an excellent trip. A lot of fun down there in Tampa. We went to the Bahama Breeze there. Although that's a chain, you can go to Bahama Breeze pretty much anywhere. That was kind of waterside, lakeside. They had a guy playing the Jamaican drums. So just a very nice trip. Great to be back home with you guys, though. I missed you guys. But that is where I was, in Tampa Bay. And I was amongst the Lightning, the Bolt faithful, as they collapsed. But anyway, let's dive into tonight's game. Once again, CBJ taking on the Lightning, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop in Tampa Bay. The Lightning opened the betting as the $2.30 favorite, total at 6.5. Now, we're not seeing a whole lot of movement on the total on this one, but we did see movement upward on the money line. And as a matter of fact, it is not a fade of the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're seeing action on Tampa Bay. 30-cent move toward the Lightning, up to 260. So once again, Tampa Bay opened 230, up to minus 260. Total 6.5, 67%. Shaded toward the Lightning. 53% of the consensus is shaded toward the under. Right now, the Blue Jackets are plus 225 on the money line. Sergei Bobrovsky projected in net for CBJ. Andrei Vasilevsky projected in net for the Lightning. Now, Columbus is 26-16 straight up on the road this year. They're also 6-23 when Bobrovsky makes the start. Columbus ranks 9th in the NHL in road scoring and 4th in road goals allowed. Now, total-wise, Tampa Bay, well, 2 out of their last 4 taking on Columbus went under the total. Give me Columbus plus 1.5, keeping this one close in the under 6.5 goals in that matchup there. Next game, Pens, Islanders, 7:30 Eastern puck drop in Long Island. Pittsburgh opened 110, pretty much a pick'em contest with the total at 5.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing steady and consistent action on